Linnea here for iCrafter, and I'm going to introduce to you and show you how you can get a 2-for-1 card using the Classic Squares die set as well as the Dashed Squares die set. Classic Squares die set is on the left, and there are 9 pieces to this nesting die set. The Dashed Squares die set is on the right, and this die set has 5 pieces, but this die set does a whole lot more than it would seem with 5 pieces. This is also another stacked or layering die set, but this has a cut line going down the center, and then there are those little dashed details on each of the squares, and those are going to allow you to get a dashed look on both the negative and positive part of your die cut. So you can get a 2-for-1 card just by die cutting once with one of these Dashed Squares dies. So here you can see that cut line going down the center, and then both on the outside and the inside has that dashed detail. Let's go ahead and start making our card. I've grabbed a stencil from iCrafter, and this is the Buffalo Plaid stencil. I love this stencil. It's a large 6x9 stencil, and I'm going to be using my iBrush blender brushes and some purple and blue inks. So I'm starting at the bottom here, and I'm just going to use those little fingertip blending brushes and start with my purple ink. And I'm going to blend up to the top, making sure that I'm getting good coverage on both those open plaid portions as well as those tiny little striped plaid portions. So you're going to see me here blend in circles as well as up and down and left to right in every which way to make sure that I'm getting really nice coverage. I'm switching here to my iBrush blender brush that I use for blue ink, and again I'm just going to blend down over that purple and then come up a little bit higher, and I'll add even a lighter blue up on top. Here's my finished panel. Now I'm taking a die from the Dashed Squares die set, and this is not the largest, but the next one down. One that's going to fit perfectly on this A2 card front. I'm going to use a T-square ruler and just make sure that that's lined up nice and straight, and then I will run that through my die cutting machine using a translucent cutting deck as well as my iMend self-mending cutting deck. I'm using my iClick pick to poke out all of those little holes that are in that dashed detail. Some of my little pieces didn't drop out, but they fall right out using that iClick pick. Here you can see how that cutting line down the center of the Dashed Squares die set is going to give you that 2-for-1 look. I have the negative piece on the left here with that dash detail around the outside, and then I have the positive piece on the right with that dash detail around the inside of my die cut. I used the Classic Squares die set rather, and cut out some more layering pieces, some craft and a piece of white. The craft is slightly larger than my dashed square, and the white is slightly smaller than. I grabbed an older die set. This is the Box Pops Flowers add-on die set. This is one of my favorite die sets to use for just creating like a simple but elegant background. These little flowers have pieces that you can layer up to create colored flowers, but I thought it would be really pretty to make them kind of an abstract background. So I'm going to play around here, and I'm going to position them on this white cardstock piece, and then I'm going to be gluing them on and cutting off the excess. I wanted to create my own floral pattern paper using these dies from the Box Pops Flowers die set, and so I'm just going to, here we go, I'm going to use my liquid adhesive and just glue these little fine detailed flowers on to that white square that I cut using the Classic Squares die set. And that's going to create my own pattern paper. Once I have all of those flowers adhered onto that square where I want them to be, and I've pressed them into place and they're not going to go anywhere, I will flip that little square over and cut off the excess from the back side of that paper. And that's going to give me a faux pattern paper. Really easily just going to cut off. These are quite easy to cut off since they're such fine detailed die cuts. And then when I flip this over, check this out. It's so pretty. I love the look, and it really looks like a pattern paper, but I completely customized it myself. And you can do this with any color of those die cuts. If you didn't want to go bold with the black and white look, you could do whatever you wanted. I considered actually doing gold as well. I'm just going to assemble my cards very quickly here. I adhered that plaid background with liquid adhesive and then popped up a whole bunch of those squares die cuts for extra dimension. I printed a sentiment from my computer and cut that into a strip and placed that along the bottom of each of those little squares. I love that dashed look from the dashed squares die set, and I hope that you do too. Thanks for watching this video. As always, you can head to the iCrafter website for more information and to the YouTube channel for more videos. Bye!